But that's not the only idiotic and extreme response. Earlier this week, one of Donald Trump's lawyers, a man by the name of Jesse Binnall, appeared on Real America's Voice, where he appeared to suggest that the justices on that Colorado State Supreme Court might be criminally charged for their decision to remove Donald Trump from the ballot. Here is what Jesse Binnall, who is an appellate attorney for Donald Trump, here is what he said on Real America's Voice. What needs to happen is there are already federal statutes on the books about violation of civil rights and the color of law. Every single one of these people, and when we actually have a real Department of Justice, should be held to account for their decision to throw our justice system into the fire effectively and leave the rule of law that has made our country so special over the years and instead decide to make decisions based on politics and not the law. There needs to be accountability. So, just to be clear, he's not outright saying these people will be criminally prosecuted, but he said when we have a, quote, real DOJ, there needs to be accountability. So the lawyer is definitely smart enough to know I can say certain words, but I can't say other words. But at the same time, it's still pretty stupid to go out there and even remotely imply that there could be prosecutions for sitting judges for decisions that they hand down. Now, much like a politician cannot be prosecuted for passing a piece of legislation that you don't like or that impacts you negatively, you cannot prosecute a judge for handing down a legal decision. And I have to assume that this lawyer both went to law school and passed the bar, so this lawyer, Jesse Binnall, has to know that. And he's sitting there, you can't violate their Trump's civil rights were not violated. This was the color of the law. They looked at the Constitution, as I said, they looked at the 14th Amendment, Constitution 14th Amendment, Insurrection Clause says this. Trump did this. How do we reconcile the two? Well, he violated it. Just because you disagree with a court opinion doesn't mean that you can prosecute them for it or that you should even threaten that possibility could exist if Trump gets back into the White House. What you could have done as a good lawyer is gone on Real America's Voice or maybe go on a real network and say this. We disagree with this ruling. We think it is absolutely a misinterpretation of the Constitution, and I am thankful that we are going to be able to go in front of the U.S. Supreme Court and get this matter straightened out, hopefully sooner rather than later. But this was the wrong decision. The court messed up tremendously, and we're going to prove that when we get to that Supreme Court, I have no doubt. End of statement. That's all you had to do. But instead, you once again reminded the country that if Donald Trump gets back into the White House, he is going to weaponize the DOJ, as Republicans have claimed Democrats are doing, and he's going to use it to prosecute anyone that he feels has ever wronged him. So I do want to thank you for reminding us how horrible a second Trump term would be. I'm pretty sure your talking point is not going to do anything to gain new support for your client. Listen, I am Farron Cousins from Ring of Fire and Fair and Balanced. I am sitting in for David Pakman today. We got to take another break, but we have lots more to talk about when we come back.